And just like that, I am back. Welcome back to the podcast. Happy Monday. I hope you have had a very great day, productive. I hope you've been safe. If you had to get out today, hope if you were at home, you were a little productive like me. I've been productive all day today, and I'm pretty proud of myself, right? So, welcome to the month of February, which is Black History Month, as well as the month of love. Can you see my shirt? It says the month of love, right? So we're gonna get into it tonight. Thank you for joining me. And if and always, if you come back and watch the replay, please drop down in the chat and tell me hello. Y'all have been doing such an amazing job at telling me hello. I just feel the love. Okay, so keep that going. Keep it going. Okay. So if you have been watching the podcast, you know that we have been in this little season where we've been talking about a new season and what that new season requires of us, because every new season or every season may require a different version of yourself, right? So last week I gave you 6 different versions. um you may could relate to all 6 of them, or maybe one or two, right? So last week I gave you the 6 so that you can jot it down on your in your free time and see which one compares to you. And we went over the first one. So I'm just gonna only tell you what it was named, but you're gonna have to go back and watch the video to catch up, right? So the first one we talked about was the grounded leader, being asked to lead from a place of clarity and not hurry. Okay. The second one we did was the courageous builder, and that was stepping into territory that you have never walked in before. Enlarge my territory. Yeah, that's what that one was about. All right. So that one was really, really, really my favorite so far. And because I'm gonna give you a little bit more on that one, right? It was stepping into new territory with proposals, contracts, ministry structures, new expectations, and choosing boldness over shrinking, speaks up for your value, owns your expertise, and builds without apologizing for the size of your vision. Okay. Now, I promise you, you need to go back and listen to that one. That one was really, really good. That was on last Thursday. Okay. So tonight we are talking about the softened, open hearted woman. Strength is rising, but so is softness. What does that look like? What are you talking about, Dina? Listen, the softened woman as a builder. So, last week we talked about the courageous builder and what that all entail. Now we're going to bring it down a notch and talk about the softened woman as a builder. Because a lot of people think when you say softened or soft, that means she's weak or she's a pushover or you can do whatever it is and just walk over her. And that's not the case, okay? So being softened means, to me, it's like God has softened your heart and you're not always so, raw, or because how a lot of times we say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so the softened hearted woman is God kind of softening her heart so that her delivery, her tone, and the community that she's building, the people that she's talking to, reflects the heart of God. So I've been doing my homework, right? And all this will resonate with, I looked up and got with Ezekiel chapter 36, verses 26, right? So it says, a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit I will put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. Meaning God's just going to soften their heart so that you're able to flow and let Him be seen through you in whatever it is, whatever version, whatever season that you are going through, and He's building in you at this time, right? So, the softened woman as a builder is not just a mood or a season, honey. It is an identity shift. It is a spiritual posture. It is a way of moving through the world that changes everything you touch. It's about responsive, not reacting, building from a healed place. A softened woman isn't weak, she is yielded. She's not passive, she's perceptive. She's not fragile, but she's flexible. Because you got to be flexible. You got to have that heart where God can use you to help build the community, the kingdom where He wants you to build. But you can't do it with a hardened heart, a nasty heart, just a heart of grudge, a heart of stone. God can't use you like that because you're not open, and the people He needs to attach to you, they won't be open to you because you coming at them the wrong way, right? And so it's crazy because the other night I was on the phone and I was talking to someone about a message that they had posted, right? It wasn't like it was in a group. And the message they posted, I understood what she was saying, but it was how the message came about, right? And she used words, let me see, how should I say this? Well, we've already talked about it, so it ain't like I'm telling her, being not talking about it, but it was one of my cousins. And she put something in the group, in our family group chat, right? And the word that she said was like, you need to do this now, in all caps, right? So then people started calling like, that was very offensive. That was very rude. How she gonna say this, then the other? So I called her and we talked for a minute. And so she went in and adjusted the message, but it made it worse because the message that was adjusted was like, I heard I ruffled a few feathers, so that was not my means. More details coming soon, or some. I can't remember to what extent it was. And I was like, oh my God. She was like, well, what? That's what I was trying. I'm just trying to say this. I said, but it's not it's not what you're trying to say, it's how you're saying things. You are saying things in a very offensive way. Um, and it's not welcoming for people to come to want to participate at all. So I said, I'm gonna call you tonight and we're gonna go through this. Okay. Don't post nothing else until we have a conversation, right? So I end up calling her that night and we kind of went through the things and I kind of just paraphrased what she was trying to say. Because at one point, well, let me tell you this, the first time she said, when she posted it, she had a feeling that she probably shouldn't have said that. I said, well, that feeling was God telling you not to say that in that tone because He knew you was going to offend somebody. And when you had a feeling, that was God telling you not to do that. However, she still went on and posted it on her, right? So she was like, well, I was just trying to say, I said, no, we can't do that. This not how we're gonna do this, okay? So we went through it and we end up having a 2.5 hour conversation, right? And it's crazy because I've been talking to so many different people where they mean well, but the way it comes out or comes off is very like their heart posture is a little need a little work to it. So you know how we always say it ain't what you say, it's how you say it. So I was telling her about, you have to be a little softer in, in your delivery of things to people. And she was like, you know what, you right. I know it's me because I have gotten fired from so many jobs because of my delivery and my tone. I said, you say what? She said, yes, that's why I have lost so many jobs because of my delivery and my tone. I said, well, apparently that means if you know that's why, you're not trying to correct it. And apparently you're being tested and you're failing the test. And she said, yeah, I know. I'm failing the test, but I'm trying to do better. So we have to, be very careful with that. And like when we're talking about the softened woman, it ain't always about being, kind of weak or intimidated as people would think it is. It's just about softening up your heart so you're able to be received and perceived in a godly kind of way. Now, I ain't saying you got to be all, oh, what do you want me to do? This, then the other. No, but it's a way to do everything, right? And so, like I said, she's not fragile. She's flexible, meaning she can go with it. Now, flexible would have been, she was like, well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and she wants to go in and apologize. But the apology overlapped I heard I ruffled some feathers. So how was that an apology on top of that right there? So that didn't go well at all. So she said, I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm just gonna let you, and we're gonna talk tonight and we're gonna fix it. And so I went back in and put a message in there, hey, hope everyone is doing well. Details coming soon. Let's get ready to have a great time. Enjoy your Saturday. I had to go in and soften the blow, but it's strange. It ain't strange because it's so God. Because just like I'm talking about the softened-hearted woman as a builder, I'm talking about myself as well, because I used to be the person who I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna say it how I want to say it, and if you don't like it, then I don't know what to tell you. And not it was not right, but in my eyes, it was who I was. But what I learned about that is that was having a wall up. So not necessarily that I'm gonna get you before you get me, but to protect it so kind of nothing really bothers me like that. And I had the attitude of, I'm gonna say what I want to say, so you can say what you want to say, at the risk of not caring about who it hurts, who feelings it hurts, who heart it crushed, whoever it made feel a type of way. It didn't matter, because I'm gonna say what I want to say. But I don't do that anymore. So that's my first part of my business. I done told y'all already tonight, okay? So I am as well the softened woman as a builder, right? And so it has softness is what happens when God finishes the breaking and begins the shaping of your heart. It's the evidence that your heart is no longer reacting, it's responding. Because a lot of time we just react off of whatever happened. Whatever happened, we're gonna react to it. We ain't trying to listen or figure it out or get an understanding. They say we listen to respond, not to hear it. So that's a part of that too, about listening and letting the Lord shape your heart. Okay. Yes, John. Praise God for growth, because y'all wouldn't believe I done came a long way. I know y'all don't believe because I look so nice and saved and holy now, but let me tell you something. We ain't gonna talk about that, okay? So it is. What is a softened woman? So a softened woman hears God in whispers, moves with grace, and she stops when her spirit tightens. She trusts God's timing more than tension. She becomes a vessel so God can actually steer, and not what she want to do on her own, right? So when their heart is softened, you're more aligned, more in tune with what God is wanting you to do and even say. Because if not, then your heart, our heart, we need a little work, because their heart posture don't always be right, right? And even when you have that softened heart, I got on my paperwork, baby. It comes with quick conviction. Like you can say something or do something to somebody, and the Lord will convict you so quick. Now you know that one right. And then go back and apologize. And sometimes people don't even take it the way you gave it, but the Lord will convict you, because He has done it to me so many times, to apologize. Or in my mind, I'd be like, I don't want her to think I did that intentionally. I don't want to offend her. And I would go back and call and say, well, I ain't mean no harm when I said that. They was like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. It's cool or whatever. No, it ain't cool, because God prompted me to call you back to have a conversation. So I need to make sure that it's cool for real and it's clear. So that ain't what I meant. So that's a part of also being the softened hearted woman, because God will convict you of some things so you can keep your hands clear and a pure heart, right? That's one of my new scriptures, okay? So it says, also, a hardened heart can't feel God nudges. You ain't trying to hear God when you mad, you got an attitude, your heart ain't right. You ain't trying to hear God. But if it's softened, you can hear him. He ain't gonna holler, so you have to be real quiet sometimes so he can tell you and give you those little nudges that you can hear and do what he said, okay? A softened heart can sense the shift even before it happens. And even when it says about sensing the shifts, that can be in a lot of things. Because I've been in rooms like, and the Lord would say, you got to pray for them before you leave. And I'm like, what? And I ain't, y'all might not know it, but I'm not a big on speaking people. I know it's shocking, but hey, this is something the Lord had me to do, right? So I can sense that shift before I'm getting ready to leave. And that nudge is like, you know what you got to do. You know why I sent you here. You ain't finna leave without praying or saying. Well, you can, but that's gonna be up to you, right? So I ease my way on into it. But I've learned that obedience is better than sacrifice. So now, depending on who it is, I circle around it. And even when I was on the phone the other day with my mom and my cousin, and my aunt had been in the hospital. So we had been praying before we got off the phone. And the Lord said, 2 nights, pray before y'all get off the phone. So I was like, oh, Lord, I got to pray. So I was like, Mama, you going to pray? She was like, nah, it's your turn. I knew it was my turn, but I was going to try to pass it on. And the Lord kept saying, it's pray. And even the first night, my mama went on and did it, but the Lord was prompting me that y'all need to start praying before y'all get off the phone. So when he prompted me to do it, I was like, okay, I got to do it. So I went on and did it. But there have been other times that I felt like, ooh, I don't want to, because I don't know how they're gonna react or how this gonna go. But the softening of my heart lets me and leads me on what God is nudging me to do, even before time to come, right? So it says, what softens as a builder? You build with God, with God. That don't mean you make your plan and then you tell God, this is what we're gonna build. That ain't how this works. We're gonna build with God and not for God, okay? And we're building from overflow and not obligation. Not because we got to, but because the flowing from your heart is just, it's so soft until you just want to do good. You want to be good. You want to be in position. You want to be able for God to use you to let it flow however he needs to flow, right? You build from identity and not insecurity. And you build from wisdom and not your wounds. Because they always say hurt people hurt people. So we're not hurting anymore, right? Because we've done all the work. We've gotten our heart posture right. We've healed. We moved on. So we are that softened woman that is building. So we using wisdom in what we do and not wounds. So the softened woman, she builds atmospheres, communities, businesses, ministries, and relationships that feel like rest. Her softness becomes the strategy. And God often replaces your heart of stone with a heart of flesh, right? So that's all I got for y'all tonight. I just want to come on and, as promised, give y'all my third version of what this season is requiring of us. And I already gave you the scripture for tonight was Ezekiel 36 and 26. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. So I already then got my ending prayer, because I ain't gonna hold you long, but I just want to come on and to give that third version of what this season is requiring of us, and to just encourage you to keep moving forward. This year is just beginning. I feel like God has a lot of new things, new season, and God's timing for us on this year. So we're just going to continue to journey through that. Make sure you drop down in the chat. Let me give them to you one more time. And the different versions of you that the Lord could be requiring, right? And even though this say women, John F. Griffin, I know you on as well. It pertains to men as well. I just use women because that was in my notes, right? So the first one was a grounded leader. The second one was a courageous builder. The third one was the softened, open-hearted woman, which is what we did tonight. The next one will be the disciplined steward. Then you have the woman who trusts the unfolding. And then you have the fully present woman, okay? So as I give you my closing prayer, that's all I got for you tonight. And it says, God, thank you for making softness a strength. Thank you for teaching us that tenderness is not a liability. It is a doorway to clarity. Soften every place in us that has grown guarded, tense, or self-protective. Make our hearts responsive to your voice. Teach us to build from rest, from wisdom, and from your presence. Let every assignment you've given us be carried with grace and not strain. And may our softness be the very thing that keeps us aligned with you. Amen. Y'all have a good evening.